Hi everybody, this is Lolly from lollychops.com, and today I'm going to show you how to create a crocheted border on paper and fabric. And I have a couple of samples of some of the borders that I've made using some different crochet stitches. I've got picots, just a regular double crocheted border, and then this is scallop crochet. And then on this little mini book, this is a little fabric mini book from Maya Road, I also created just some different crocheted stitches on this one as well, just to kind of show you, like, you can get a lot of dimension on your borders. And then Mom Chops made this awesome little business card holder for me, kind of doing the exact same thing. She made it out of felt, and then she added a crocheted border all the way around this little holder. So let's get started. In order to do crochet on the page, you have to start with a blanket stitch that you'll be crocheting on. So I'm going to show you one of the ways that I get nice even holes to start my blanket stitch. You can either use a little template like this little basil template. It's got little circles with holes in it, and then it's got straight lines. For this one, I basically just lined up the edge of the template with the paper, and then I used an awl. And I just kind of, you just kind of go through and you poke the holes that way. It also is really good for if you wanted to do circles. You could just kind of line this up and then you could do the circles around. If you don't have this template, that's okay. You can just eyeball the spacing. You just want to keep it pretty evenly spaced as you go along. And if you don't have an awl, but you'd rather have kind of bigger holes and you wanted to do something with bigger holes, you could also use the crocodile on the smallest hole punch, and you can just punch your holes using your crocodile and just kind of go through, maybe do some pencil marks first and then go through and then punch all your holes out, and then you'll have nice holes that you can then blanket stitch into. A blanket stitch is a relatively easy stitch. The thread that I'm using for this particular stitch on this piece of paper is a number 3 crochet thread, and I'm using a needle that's a little bit thicker. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Let me see if we can get that focused there. I don't know. There it goes. It's a little bit thicker needle with a bigger eye. I do still use, even though it's got a bigger eye, I use this little DMC tool to help thread my my needles, just because it goes faster for me. And then I'm going to show you a tip that I learned not too long ago for how to tie a knot on the end of a needle. Let me see if you'll be able to see this. Your point is basically on this side, and you have your thread threaded through on this side, and then you take the end of your thread facing the opposite direction from your point, and you hold it next to your needle, and then you wrap it around just maybe 3 or 4 times, and then you pull it, that wrap that you just did around the needle, you pull it through, and then you have a knot. It's really a really fast way to tie a knot on the end of your thread. So the way that you start the blanket stitch is, let's say that this is going to be the top of your piece. You come in from the bottom on the holes that you have punched, and then you're going to come in through the exact same hole that you just came through, again coming up through the top, and then you're going to wrap the thread around. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but you kind of wrap the thread around the top of the needle, and it creates like almost like a little knot, and that gives you a first really good threading that's not going to lean, because if you don't do that step, your first stitch is always going to lean a little bit into where your next one is. So in order to do the next blanket stitch, and I'm actually going to give you some links to better video tutorials for blanket stitch that have really good close-ups, you just come in again through the bottom, and then you catch the thread through with the needle, and then you pull it. And you just basically keep doing that. Whoops, that's Ron Chops. See, you just keep going. See, pull it up, stick the needle through, and then pull. So let's assume that we've done this entire thing, and I have the finished piece here. Let me wait for it to catch up. There we go. So I've basically blanket stitched all the way around just this corner of this piece of paper, and then you're going to take some yarn, and I've got some orange yarn here. I was trying to find some stuff that's nice contrast. And you tie a knot at the end of your yarn. And I don't know if this is the absolute correct way to do it, but this is the way that I figured out how to do it. And you basically treat your blanket stitch as if it were an already crocheted border. So you stick your needle through and you hold the knot behind the paper or whatever, you know, material that you're crocheting on, and you pull it through as if it were, like I said, as if it were an already crocheted border. And I usually do, I'm just going to do 2 single crochets on this, and then you treat it as if, like I said, if it was just a regular crocheted border that you were doing. So I'll do a double crochet on this, and you basically do 2 stitches per opening in your blanket stitch. So I've got 2 stitches there, and then you just keep going through, and you just keep on trucking. Just do this, just do a couple of them so you can kind of see the border forming. And even though this is just a regular piece of cardstock, but I've even done this on printer paper, even though it's really light paper, it gets a little bit more difficult as if the paper or the material that you're working on is thinner. But you just have to be careful and not pull too terribly hard, and then you won't rip the stitch out of the paper. It goes pretty, it seems like it's in there securely because of the way that they're all connected together. So here is your border starting to form. You can kind of see how that's starting to take shape. I think I don't pay attention to how I crochet because I crochet the wrong way. I kind of crochet in the air, and you're not supposed to do that. I don't know how to crochet any other way though, so I'm also going to give you, I think I've given you guys this before, some really nice crochet videos that I found on Vimeo, so I'll show you those and that'll teach you the right way to crochet, not the lolly way to crochet, because this in the air stuff is just not good, not supposed to do that. So, but it gets the job done for me. So there you have it. It's like I said, it's a pretty simple technique. I guess the key is to start with a blanket stitch, and then you basically add your crochet to the blanket stitch that you've put onto the paper. And I've created a couple of samples of some projects that I did. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. I put this together. This is basically just another Maya Road fabric canvas tag that I got, and then I dyed it with glimmer mist, and I put, I don't know if you can see it, but I did like some resists and stuff on it, and I've got another one I'm going to show you guys how to do this a little bit later. But I just basically adhered all of the, this is a crepe paper set of rub-ons that I had, and I just rubbed it onto paper. But you just, you know, I just put a little crocheted border up at the top because I thought it added something kind of special. Can you see it? I think the crocheted borders add something really nice to your projects. And then I also made this little tag. This is just a paper tag, and I made a little crocheted border. Let me see if I can get that to focus. There it goes. I made a crocheted border around a cloud shape, and then I added another little cloud on top of that, and I just thought that was a really nice accent. It kind of gives a tiny little project a little something extra. So I did that too. And then again, I'm going to show you this Maya Road album again because I'm completely in love with this border and how this came out. And I want to show you the pieces individually so that you can kind of see all of the different stitches. And I'll find some links for you guys so you can learn all of the different stitches that I used on this. But let's see. So on this first one, I have just a single crochet. And also, just to let you know, I glue down my stitches when I'm finished with the project because I don't want them to kind of come unraveled, because you know sometimes these little books get manhandled a lot, and I use fabric tack to do that. It's really good glue. So this one is a single crochet border. This one I did scallops facing the wrong way, and you can kind of see those. Let me see if I can get it to focus. There we go. So that scallops facing the wrong way, and you know, that's the other side of them. This is just a double crocheted border, just makes a really nice tall border. I did teal thread as the blanket stitch, and then I did lime green thread as the top. This is a picot border, where it's basically a double crochet with the picot top, so I think that one looks really nice too. Mom Chops did that one for me. Thanks, Mom Chops. And this is another scallop border facing the opposite direction, so I've got one facing one direction and then one facing the other direction, just to give it some different dimension. And then I finished off the last page again with just a straight single crochet. So when you layer all of these little guys together, it just makes the coolest little, like, roughly textured top for the top of your border. I think it just looks absolutely fabulous. I could just bite into that. But that's all I had for today. Oh wait, no I didn't. I lied. I wanted to show you these two because these are pretty fabulous too. These are just pieces of circles. This circle paper, I think this is SEI paper, and this is a picot border on the paper. I think it looks really, really nice. And then this is scallops, and then you can see the other side. It kind of makes like a little neat little like flower almost. I think it's real pretty. And then this is just a double crocheted border, again just on some more SEI paper. So now that's all I had for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll give this a try, because I think it can add a really nice texture, a really nice element to your projects. And I'd like to thank Stacy Cohen, who gave me the inspiration for this. I saw this on her blog a couple of weeks back, and I just absolutely fell in love with it and knew that it was something that I wanted to try. So I hope you guys will give it a try too, because it's pretty easy and pretty fun and has really awesome results. So thanks again. Bye-bye.